Salut, bonjour, and welcome to episode 17 of francofille, a creative podcast. My name is Devin, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram at bdevin. You can also, I'm trying to think of all the other places you can find me. Those are really the two best places. That's where I'm most active. There's also a Ravelry group for the podcast if you search francofille in the groups tab. You can find my patterns on Ravelry too if you search francofille, and on Etsy you can find my yarn if you search for francofille. So bdevin, francofille, search either of those things. I'll pop up somewhere probably. Yeah, before I get going into everything, I want to start by saying thank you so much, whether you are a new or returning viewer. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out what I've got to talk about this week. Real quick before really getting into everything, I know I've mentioned this on the last episode too, but with it being the end of the semester and things like that, the podcast schedule is off. I'm doing my best to try and make sure I'm still putting out an episode a week, but with things being a little bit irregular, if you want to go ahead and hit subscribe, you'll definitely be able to check out my next podcast when it comes out. Cool. Okay, I'm trying to think, what do I have to talk to you guys about today? No finished objects this week. I'm sitting on an almost half-finished object. I'll show you in a minute. And then 2 design projects are knit along, which is I made some more progress on this week, and I'm trying to think what else. And more, just lots of works in progress. I've been dealing with a little bit of startitis, just starting all of the new projects, and just trying to chip away at everything I've got going on the needles. So I haven't necessarily devoted myself hardcore to any one particular project this last week, but it's also been finals week, so I haven't had all of the time in the world to devote to my knitting, unfortunately. Whew, all of that to say, lots of stuff to talk about. I've also got a little bit of spinning to show you, and some cool new updates from my dye pot too, as well as a little blather at the very end. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright, we're going to start with works in progress. Before we get started, I'm not drinking tea or anything today. I've got some fruit juice. The weather's finally gotten nice and kind of warm. It's sunny and hinting at being in the 60s, so I don't know, a hot beverage just didn't seem quite appropriate now that it's finally starting to feel like summer. So some nice fruit juice instead. I think this is the V8 pomegranate blueberry blend, which is really nice. So like I said, I have a ton of whips to show you guys. Let's see where to begin. Oh, so many options. All right, I'm gonna start with my Cozy Memories blanket. So Shannon of the Sockcetra podcast is doing a blanket blitz cow, right, knit along right now. Just kind of add as many squares to your blanket or knit up as many mini skeins as you can for the next, during a 40-day period. I'm not quite sure when it ends. Maybe the end of the month, the end of May, middle of May. I'm not sure, but that is being hosted through Shannon of Sockcetra, so definitely go check that out. It's a really great knit along, actually, right? Because it's just completely open-ended, right? The only thing is you have to use mini skeins, right? Or scraps, leftovers. So, and I feel like everybody's working on one of these projects anyway, so I mean, it's a smart idea. Very smart idea. But anyway, let's see, what did I get done this week? I showed you guys where I squared it off last week. I've only gotten these 4 squares here added. But part of the fun I had with this week was that I dyed up a bunch of mini skeins just to kind of play around with some techniques before my giant wholesale order came in of bare yarn. Sorry, cat is sniffing around, so I had to ask her to stop. But yeah, so I dyed up these 3 here just to kind of play around with different techniques of layering colors and stuff like that. Really pleased with the results. So I've got this one here, this middle one, and then this solid blue one. kind of cool. And then I also added in one from Mom's Fingerlets Mitts. So these 3 are mine, and not in colorways that I'm putting up on the store or anything like that. It was really very much just to practice a couple techniques. So yeah, it was a really fun learning experience, that's for sure. Really happy with the techniques. Let me show you the balls that I've got left. I had a picture on Instagram of the various minis before they got knit up into the blanket, and I think so the minis and like that I've wound into balls that I haven't knit up, I store in my project bag. Once I knit a square out of them, I've got a big mason jar that I store them in, just to kind of be cutesy, I guess. Also so I can keep track of what's in here and what's not yet. But yeah, so these are the 3 remaining sort of die tests that I've got to put in here. So I'm going to put these in this week. But yeah, lots of fun with this. As always, if you've got any questions about how I make these, there's that tutorial up on YouTube. Again, continuing with that diamond motif. Lots of fun there. And as always, this one has my favorite progress keeper on it, which is this adorable little sock that I received as part of my Knitting X hat swap with Madeline. So, hi Madeline. Still love this progress keeper. I keep it always on the front of my Cozy Memories blanket. So yep. And there with everything else. So not a ton of progress on that this week, but sorry about the little cut there. Another technology issue, but we should be good to go. The next project I want to show you guys that I've been working on this week is that Mrs. Weasley's family sock that I've been working on forever. I have finally gotten it past where I was when I ripped back, and this one's hit the pause button for a couple days because if you can see, right, that's the sole of the foot. It is totally smooth. Really glad I fixed that right at the top. I am ready to Kitchener this last toe. Normally, not an issue, would just do that without even thinking, just be done. However, I am in the process of teaching a friend of mine how to knit socks, and she is ready to Kitchener her first toe, so kind of a huge moment for her. So I wanted to hold off and show her how to Kitchener together. So we will be doing that today at our little our knit night. Normally that was a Wednesday thing, like podcasting, but again, end of the semester, everything has gotten thrown out of whack. So, my whole life is just completely discombobulated, guys. What am I gonna do? But yeah, so again, I love this pattern, love this yarn. This is the first time I've done the contrasting cuff, heel, and toes. The lighting's a little bit off, but the yarn here is navy, not like black like it's kind of showing up. But the contrasting color here is, I think, Hot Socks, which is just a very solid, workhorse sort of yarn. Not soft at all. Not necessarily anything I'd want next to my face, right? It's really, I don't want to say rustic, because I feel like that's, I don't know, I think more of like a 2-ply, maybe like a little coarser 2-ply for rustic, but it's kind of like a Regia or an Opal. Really solid sock yarn. 75% virgin wool, 25% nylon. And then the main body of the sock here is Brew City yarns in the Toasted Marshmallows colorway. Really, really nice 2-ply. Really soft. I think it's an 80-20 blend, and it is just gorgeous. Really love it. Can't wait to cast on my next sock. I had to put it away. Like, this had been sitting out on my coffee table for me to knit on in one of my yarn bowls, but it was just taunting me. I really wanted to pick it up and cast on the next cuff. I tried figuring out, like, maybe if I just leave this on some scrap yarn or something like that, maybe, or if I switched needles for the second sock, maybe it would be okay. but I didn't. I was good. So yeah, we'll be Kitchenering tonight. So I'll have an actual hoe, and maybe more to show you guys next week. Definitely more. What am I kidding? Maybe not a full finished object next week, but definitely more of this to show you guys next week. And again, I'm using my DPN cozy just to keep it all nice and secure, right? And that is by Jenny of the Kitchen Counter Crafter. So yeah, progress. Definitely 100% missed the end dates for both the knit-alongs I was trying to get that in for, but you know, that's life, right? Everybody misses deadlines for knit-alongs. They're supposed to be low pressure. You know, this is for fun, so no beating myself up over that. What else to show you? Let's see here. Aha! So, another sock to show you. I was feeling kind of sad about not being able to knit on that one. And yeah, I've just been feeling discombobulated, like I said, over the last week or so, and so I decided, you know, I'm just gonna start taking a walk, get the good endorphins going, make myself feel a little bit better. But was torn between I desperately want to knit, I desperately want to watch podcasts, and I need to take a walk. What do? I start multitasking. So I've yeah, been knitting and walking and watching podcasts all at the same time, and it's been actually a lot of fun. Normally getting me on a treadmill to take a walk is like pulling teeth, right? I hate it. It's so boring. It drives me nuts. There's 100 other things I would rather be doing. You know, I've tried the whole read a book or something like that, or watch TV while on the treadmill, and that's honestly, like, I can maybe get 20 minutes, 30 if I'm really forcing myself, but like, it's just so boring. But apparently it was boring because I wasn't doing enough. So I decided this week to try watching a podcast and knitting on a sock while walking on the treadmill. And honestly, I feel like a genius. I also kind of feel ridiculous for never thinking of doing this sooner. But I am knitting up a sock. You can see I got the cuff done. Alright, 2x2 rib. And look at all that ribbing! I'm so proud of myself for the amount of ribbing I got done too. You guys know I hate knitting ribbing, but I don't even know how many rows that is. That's 2 full stripes plus like a half stripe. I'd say there's got to be at least 20 rows of ribbing here, right? So apparently walking and watching podcasts is the way to get through the monotony of knitting ribbing. Knitting and watching podcasts is the way to get through the monotony of walking on a treadmill. Really, the only part of this that isn't monotonous is the watching of the podcasts. But yeah, I can walk for an hour, get a couple miles in, and, you know, make some serious headway on a pair of socks. So why have I never been doing this before? I'm probably gonna end up hurting myself by not paying fully attention to something, but I'm having so much fun with it. Just like, I am looking forward to having like my knitting walking time. But yeah, I'm knitting these out of Knit Picks Felici, and what did I do with that tag? It would be really great if I could tell you, you know, which colorway it was, but in the excitement, I appear to have, there it is. Haha. In my handy dandy knitting journal, so right where it belongs, kind of. It's the fanciful colorway, and it's Felici, so it's a 75-25 blend. Whoop. There you go, you can actually read it now. 50-gram balls, totally normal. Super soft, and so the last pair of Felici socks that I knit up were for my sister-in-law, and she really liked them. Yeah, really liked them. She's totally knit-worthy. So I'm going to be gifting my my walk-in knit socks to her as well. Yeah. I guess a couple details on my sock construction. I know people are always curious about that. I cast on 64 stitches, doing a long tail cast on. You can see that I'm obviously knitting these cuff down. I'm using US size 1s. Is that right? Yes. They are 2.25 millimeter Addy sock rockets. The weird thing about Addy sock rockets I've noticed is that they're mislabeled. Right, like the packaging on these says that they are 2.75 millimeter needles, but when I check them with my needle gauge, it's definitely 2.25. And like when I check the gauge, compare gauge on these to what I normally get on a US 1 needle, it's the same. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but I love knitting magic loop on sock rockets. They are just, they're pointy enough. I am not getting any of the weird chipping or anything like that. I'm getting a little bit of discoloration there, but I think that's kind of just like, you know, everybody's chemistry is a little bit different and reacts to things a little bit differently. So I think that may just be all that is, but it doesn't affect the drag or anything like that, so I'm not too worried about it. Actually, now that I'm thinking about these, are these sock rockets or are these turbo lace? Either way, I know they're for sure Addies. I'm gonna check, now that I'm saying all of this stuff about them. Not high sharps. Oh no, I lied. These are turbo lace. Yeah, and you can even see like the sticker there from my yarn store where I bought them, right? It labels them as 2.25. Oh, I cut myself. But the Addy packaging labels them as 2.75. So yeah, just a thing to be aware of, I guess, if you're looking to buy Addies. You can see how much I paid for them. I love these. I love Addy Nurdles. Needles. Wow. What do I want to say else? Yeah, love Addies. They're a little bit pricey, but I think they're worth it. Right, I've got like a pair of high sharps here that I've been waiting to use, but I don't know what I'm going to use these for. They're a little bit too big for socks for me because they're a US 2, but I don't know, maybe like mittens or something. We'll see. Anyway, that was a huge digression. But yeah, I really cannot recommend the walking and sock knitting thing highly enough. If any of you guys are looking to, if you guys have the same problem I do while walking on treadmills, of it just being painfully dull and just counting down the seconds before you can jump off the stupid treadmill. Podcasts and socks together, right? Simple vanilla socks, mindless knitting, worked out great. Normal speed, normal everything. The only time I had to pause was after I cast on the first round of the ribbing, because I kept getting off. But yeah, other than that, it's been fun. It's been fun. Who knew? Who knew? So yes, hashtag walk and knit. It's 100% going to be a thing. Join me in this. Hashtag walk and knit. There we go. And ball band in with the project. This has actually just been living on the on the treadmill we've got. I put the little ball of yarn in one of the like water bottle holders off to the side. Just go from there. It's totally great. All right, next project. Sorry. Quick update on my Chances wrap. I have gotten to the short rows in brioche. This thing has gotten very big already. It's a little zigzaggy. We've already talked about my bad test knitter situation there. Yeah. On to my first brioche short rows, which is kind of crazy. It's really cool. Still loving this, just don't even know why I put this down. I clearly need to get back to this one. I'm like looking at it like, I love this project. Why did I put you down? I don't know. I don't know. Me and the Chances Wrap are going to have some quality time later today. Yeah, I don't even know what else to tell you guys about it. I'm knitting this out of Knit Picks Capretta in 4 different colors. You can see I've got this wine color here called Wine, easily enough. Turmeric, cream, and caviar. And the Capretta yarn from Knit Picks is their merino nylon blend. It's a fingering weight. And then I believe these are size 4 needles? You tell me. Are you older needles? Yeah. I don't remember the size. And since these are slightly older ones from Knit Picks, it's not stamped on there. But I'm using my Knit Picks interchangeables. Which again, I actually really like. They may be my general favorite needles to knit on. And I like metal needles. I know there's people who prefer wooden ones and things like that, but I like the slickness. I like the really nice point on them. I tend to be a fairly tight knitter. I know I've mentioned that in the past, so I feel like the metal needles kind of help me along. I think because of the tightness, I think wooden needles tend to slow me down a little bit too much. I've got a set of wooden needles that I use too, and I don't know. Basically, I don't know. I don't really have a strong preference for metal versus wood. If anything, I slightly prefer metal, but it's really a slight preference. I feel like there are people who have some very strong opinions on that topic. Will only use wood for certain projects and only use metal for other ones, or never use one or the other. I guess I'm not that picky. As long as I'm getting the right gauge, or really gauge done doesn't always matter to me, if I'm being completely honest. I'm pretty terrible about that. Yeah. Last work in progress that is not one of my own designs. Or speaking of my own design, before I even get into this, I am wearing my Honeybeams cowl again. Kind of getting it away from my chin so you can actually see what it looks like. Right, which is a 1-color brioche cowl. Like I said, it's really nice and sunny here finally, but still a little bit chilly, so kind of just what I needed today while I was running around doing errands. And as I run around and do more after I get done recording. Sorry, I'm super distracted. I don't know why. Apparently I left this off in the middle of the row. I am working on my Cameo Loco knit along shawl. Sorry, I can't really show you very well what I'm doing. As you can see, I left off in the middle of a row, so I'm just, hi. Got a little bit of a loop here going on, so I can't show you all of the progress that I've made so far. Am I also on a wrong side? I'm on the right side. So again, I'm chipping away at it slowly but surely, making sure I keep knitting on this as well. I got a couple more stripes of the purple in there. So I'm getting very, very close to being able to knit some lace. I am super excited for that. You guys know I love me some lace. So I know once I get to the lace section, it's just gonna fly. I'm really, really excited for the eyelets too. But yeah, love this. Cannot wait to get this finished so I can wear it. This is 100% a product knit for me. I tend to be a little bit more of a process knitter, but I really want the finished product on this one. So bad. It's gonna be so pretty. Super, super, super wearable. Absolutely love both of these yarns. Sorry, I feel like I talk about this one less and less every week because I talk about it every week. You know, I feel bad showing you guys the same project over and over again. But anyway, I don't know why. I should, right? This is a really cool project. The color I am currently using is Ominous Skies. This is from Beautiful Mess Yarnworks. Right, again, that gorgeous purpley gray color. Right, this is my contrast color. This is what my lace is going to be, the eyelet section. And then this poor little former cake is what is remaining of my Stardust. This is the skein of yarn that inspired the entire knit along, right? This is Stardust from Hue Loco Yarns, right? It is on her glitz base. You can see that sparkling stellina in there. Really nice 2-ply. And yeah, really, really love this pattern. Really love this product. And I can't wait to wear it. I think this is going to be absolutely perfect this summer. I can totally see myself wearing this in the evenings when we go up to visit my in-laws. They've got a lake house you guys have seen. I've filmed there before. And I think this will be really nice for sitting around the fire at night, you know, when things have cooled off just a little bit. Oh, I can't wait. It'll be so good. What else? More Knit Picks interchangeables, right? This is what I do. Yeah. Yeah, I really have no complaints about these. Especially not the metal ones. The wood ones, I'll show you in a minute. They have a tendency that I've had some issues with the wood coming out from the metal, but they're also old. I think they're from when they first came out, so like 07-ish? So they're almost 10 years old. Oh my goodness, they're almost 10 years old now. Wow, sorry, I just had a moment of feeling old for a minute. Okay, moving right along. Speaking of my apparently old Knit Picks needles, I have been working on my Chanel wrap rather seriously this last week. Right, and this is living in my Arrows bag by Bags by Terry. Love this bag. Super solid, really stands up really well on its own. Plenty of space for everything, right? It's even got little pockets in it and everything. Love it. But my Chanel wrap is growing. Right. And this is the one, I think, it's been a while since I showed you guys this one. I've gotten so distracted and so busy. This is one where I blocked just the bottom of it. Right, you can see that distinct line. And then just kind of kept going. So right now it's curling up on itself a lot. It's really kind of tight and it's looking teeny tiny, but it'll block out nice and large and drapey. All right. Bam. You gotta see what I got going on here. I am knitting this out of Quince & Company in the, which one is this? This is the Turn Base. Right. Which is 75% wool, 25% silk, so really nice high silk content, which is part of why once it blocks out, it'll be so nice and drapey. Right? I can't get over that, just how clear that difference is between the blocked section and the unblocked section. Right, look at that. I mean, even on the back, even on the wrong side. I kind of really enjoy the wrong side fabric on this one. Right? Maybe a little bit less so with this twist stitch braid, but with the slip stitches, it's kind of a really cool look. But anyway, so random. The colorway here is Oyster, and I'm onto my second ball of Oyster. All right. And then I'm going to add this contrast color as well along the edge or as a border. And this colorway is called Stonington. Yes. Also more Quince & Company. Also Turn. Really love this yarn. I know there have been people who don't like it so much. Was it Steph from the Milk Shed blog was talking about how she didn't really love the way it feels as it's knitting up. And I kind of get that. It definitely isn't the same sort of softness, or it doesn't have the same hand as like 100% merino or something like that. It does feel a little bit different. It's not quite plasticky, but it does have a different, I mean, obviously, right? But it does have a slightly different feel to it as you're knitting it up. But once you block it, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely worth it. Sorry, I'm just like sitting here rubbing my knitting. I'm such a weirdo. Whatever. But yeah. So the border is going to get added on along the bottom edge away from that this cabley braid thing. Right. And once I get this done, or at least start working on that border, I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about the inspirations for this one. You know, why I'm knitting it the way I am, you know, why I chose the different motifs, all that kind of good stuff. Because there's definitely plenty to talk about with inspirations for this one. But yeah, and again, more knit picks, knit picks needles. Really, all I'm between that and Addie's, like that is my needle collection, right? And these are those old wood ones I was just talking about, right? And so it's not on this pair, but this is where I've had some issues in the past with the needles coming unglued and breaking on me. Yeah, this pair hasn't been an issue, or these tips haven't been an issue, but I think it was like my, like literally like my size 8s through 11s, like all had that issue. So that 8, 9, 10, and 11, and 10 and a half. All of those I had that issue with. So I was less than thrilled, and that's why I switched to the metal needles with this. But yeah, so cool. Kind of really want to keep knitting on this. But I won't. I won't. I will put this down and continue to podcast and not just sit and knit on this like I really, really want to. It's a really meditative knit. Just like the way the slip stitches work and all that. Yeah. I'm really, really enjoying it. And I love the way that these twisted stitch braid thing, how that works up, especially after it blocks. Look at that. I love it. Can't wait. Oh, I really want to keep knitting on it right now, but I won't. But I want to. Oh, away you go. Do not tempt me further. Maybe I'll bring this to knit night along with my sock. Yes. Like, and that's just it. Like, it looks complicated, but I can sit and knit in public and talk to somebody while I'm knitting on it, right? So it looks way more complicated than it actually is. Which I feel like is also the case with the brioche, right? There are certain projects where I will, like, just hands down not bring them out anywhere where I need to be mentally engaged with anything other than my knitting, right? Like I won't even watch TV and knit with some of these projects. But with that one, 100%, I've gotten to the point where I can knit and hold a conversation with that one. Trying to think which other ones can I not do that with. The Chances wrap I can't, but that's in part because the pattern changes so often that I don't want to bring anything where I have to read a pattern to knitting with other people. Do you know what I mean? Although with the Chances wrap I can watch TV and do that. Clearly I'm a multitasker. We've seen this now. So perhaps your results may vary, but anyway. This is one where I'm not going to bring this in public because I'm working on the pattern right now, actively. But this one's been really fun too. This is, don't have a name for this one yet, but I showed you guys this one a little bit last week. This is my new wrap pattern or shawl I'm working on that is sort of inspired by vineyards. right? This was my contribution to the, what was it? Initiate Knit Designs Challenge, hosted by Françoise or Frenchie of Aroha Knits. You can kind of see that it's got some kind of a cool construction. Got some garter stitch going on, a little bit of lace, lots of stuff working across diagonals. I'm having a ton of fun playing with this one. I had an idea of how I wanted the construction to go. I wanted to end up making it really rectangular. Not rectangular, but like a parallelogram, right? Like have some perpendicular lines or parallel lines on either side, like it would go straight up from this. But as it's knitting up, I'm just kind of like letting it do its thing. Does that make sense? Like I'm finding that the garter wedges end up sort of expanding and getting wider, and that's just kind of what has to happen for the lace to work out the right way. Like I fought it and I fought it and I fought it for a while, and it just wasn't working out, and I kept having to rip back and make it work. So I'm just gonna give in. Right, I'm just gonna let my knitting tell me what it needs, what it wants to be and what it needs to be. So I kind of think it actually is even better than what I was initially thinking too, with just the way those sort of rays of garter stitch just expand. So yeah, I will keep you guys posted as this one continues. Now that summer break is upon us, I will actually have time to really sit and get this one knit up and done. So yeah, stay tuned. Guess what? Guess what needles I'm using? Knit Picks interchangeables. What size are you? These are my US 4s, so I don't know what size those other ones are. But anyway. And then I've got my little coffee cup here from Sucre Miniatures. Right? Which was donated by the lovely Melissa of Spicy Homemaker. Right? And it's so cute. Just a reminder, there are 2 of these little progress keepers. Not the coffee cup, but there's a... just show you, actually. I have it sitting right here. Totally off topic now that I'm talking about my own designs. But you too can have some progress keepers from Sucre Miniatures. Right, we got a little croissant here for you. And look at that little s'more. It's so cute. I love it. And these are, yes, were donated to the Hue Loco Cameo Shawl Knit Along, our Cameo Loco Cal, by Melissa of Spicy Homemaker. Chatter thread prize for this one. Upside down. Let's see what that says. Cool. Whew. Is that it for works in progress? Why do I feel like I probably have another one? Nope, that's all of them. That's plenty though. Let's see here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Guys, what am I doing? Is it any wonder that I've got like an inch done on everything when I've got 7 different projects on the needles right now? Okay. There are 7 bags on my lap, 7 project bags. This is not okay. I'm having my own personal intervention for my startitis because this is ridiculous. It's time to bring back the accountability system, 100%. I'm gonna put up a thread in the Ravelry group. I'm gonna title it Accountability Buddies. If you have questions about what I mean by accountability buddies, there's an entire episode titled Accountability Buddies. I think it's number 4. But basically, this is not okay, and I need to hold myself accountable, and I would love for you guys to hold me accountable. I've already had to do this once over the last couple months where I'm just like, you know, I'm not allowed to cast anything on until I clear my needles a little bit, before I clear some project bags. So we're gonna play that game again. And play along with me. If there is anything you are working on that you would love to have somebody else kind of hold you accountable for, anything that you desperately need to get done or maybe not cast on, maybe you're like me and you should not be casting on any more projects at the moment, or you need to clear your needles, or you need to not buy yarn, or whatever. Post in the accountability buddies thread. We'll check in with each other. We'll make sure that we stay on top of our knitting goals. Because guys, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? Okay, I'm gonna stop myself before I justify my actions. Because I can 100% justify all of these various projects. I'm gonna keep laughing at myself, because that's what needs to happen. Okay. I'm now like evaluating in my mind, like, what projects can I just kind of press pause on? What needs my attention right now? Obviously the test knit I need to definitely work on. The half-finished socks I should probably work on. Maybe I will turn those into my walk and knit socks. I'll pause on the new socks for a minute. The memory blanket doesn't need a ton of attention. Right, that's a long-term project. I can pause on that one. And the Hue Loco, the Cameo Loco Cal, that one I need to work on, right? I'm running the knit along. I should probably work on that one. Maybe I'll hit pause on one of my own designs. Maybe. We'll see. Thank you for listening to me while I work this out. Basically, in my mind, I've just narrowed it down by one project, so only 6. Whatever. Whatever. I'm a ridiculous human being. This is just how it goes. Alright, in other news, I've gotten a little bit of spinning done, too. This has been over the last 2 weeks. I didn't show you guys this last week because I was in the middle of what I wanted to spin up, but I've got 2 ounces here of Polworth spun up. This is from, let's see here, the braid I purchased from Narwhal Needleworks a couple weeks ago. The braid is now just roving. Right, it's completely come unbraided because I've been pulling on it, obviously. But yeah, right, this gorgeous braid of Polworth. Right, go. The colorway here is, I think, sepia, which is totally appropriately named. You can see it's got the lighter sections, it's got some darker mauve-y sections. This, honestly, may be the nicest stuff I've spun so far. It drafts so nicely, and yeah, just so smoothly. I don't even, haven't had any issues really. I've been working on spinning my singles a little bit tighter. So I had a couple issues with breakage because they're so fine, and I'm trying to get them tight enough. I'll spin it as a single so that when I ply it, it won't come unspun. Clearly I have no idea what I'm talking about, but that was the advice that I had gotten with the issues I was having last time I attempted to ply. But as you can see, there's a little bit of really overspun stuff here. Sorry, my text messages keep popping up while I'm trying to record. Anyway. Yep, it's a little bit messy. I'm still new with this, guys. You know that. But I've been just having so much fun with this. So I've got half the braid spun up here. I've got to clear off another bobbin to spin up the other two, and then I'll apply them together, and hopefully it will actually be something usable. But I'm actually pretty pleased with the consistency that I've been achieving. Which brings us to updates from the dye pot. I have been having so much fun with dyeing, guys. It's the greatest. It's so much fun. I put in a giant order for undyed yarn kind of after running out a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I think now, and just kind of like feeling adrift, like I don't know what to do with myself. I'm out of undyed yarn. I can't play. So I put a picture of this up on my Instagram, but I ordered 50 skeins of undyed yarn plus 5 sock blanks, which I haven't played with the sock blanks yet. That's on the docket for next week. But yeah, so lots and lots and lots of yarn to dye up and play with. Very excited. And I've been having fun sort of planning new colorways and writing down the recipes before I actually start dyeing, right? Going in with a clear plan of what I want to do, an idea of the various methods I'm going to use to apply the yarn or apply the dye and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just dove right in yesterday after spending the day before planning out the different colorways, and I'm super thrilled with the results. I'm really, really excited. So let's see here, what to show you first. I'll start with these. All right, so this colorway I am naming Hortensia, right? Hortensia, which is the French name for hydrangeas, right? The flowers. So you can see it is right, I'll show you on the one that hasn't been reskeined, so it's a little bit clearer. Right, you get these mixes of blues and purples and pinks, right? Just like a hydrangea. Right, get some pops of green in there too. Right. Right, so I've dyed this up on 2 different bases. Right. See, this one's been reskeined, so it looks a little bit different. But again, this was dyed the same way as this. I just reskeined it, so I undid the skein and rewound it essentially because it was looking a little bit messy just in the dye process. Sometimes sections can come a little bit loose or things like that. Things get pulled out of whack, so just skeined it back up so it looked a little bit nicer. And you can also kind of get a better feel for how it might knit up, right? The way the colors play together. Whereas with this, you can see more of how they were applied. Does that make sense? But yeah, so again, same dye bath, same everything, except 2 different bases. I've got my chaussette base, which is just the word for sock in French, and this one is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon blend, and then this one is my, sorry, I'm checking my notes. This is my Normandy blend. And this one is 100% superwash merino, and it's a 2-ply. So slightly different configuration, no nylon in this one. I'm really, really excited that I got this base to play with too, because I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. Right. I can't wait to see how this one knits up. I think it's going to be amazing. But yeah, I think this is just a really great springy, summery color. They're both fingering weights. This one is, I think, 463 yards for 100 grams, so a nice light fingering. Not even, it's almost like a light fingering, I think. When I hear light fingering, I think almost like 500 yards per 400. Yep. This one, and then this one I believe is, where is it in my notes? I think it's 400. All the specific details and all that kind of stuff will be up on the Etsy page, or in the Etsy shop. So, yep, francofille knits is the name of the Etsy shop, of course. So these 2 colorways, or these 2 up here. The second colorway that I played around with, that I came up with and dyed up and really excited about, calling this one, what is this one? Breton Sea and Sky. So Breton, right, the region of Brittany in France is Bretagne in French. So Breton is the adjective for the name. Right, again, same two bases. There's a really nice gray, and this one probably needs to be reskeined, right? You see the little extra loopy things. So I'll probably reskein this one. But you can see that it's got really nice deep blues and grays, right? Some really cool effects there. I love the way that they blend together here. I think that one's really cool. And again, same two bases. Same thing going on here. Yeah. So I went with, I named this Breton Sea and Sky because, so Brittany is the part of France where, and if you think of France as being kind of like a hexagon, if I draw not a hexagon on my palm, Brittany is the little peninsula that juts out into the Atlantic and English Channel, and the weather there tends to be a little bit cooler and grayer and rainier. I feel like especially on the English Channel coast. So I remember I spent a summer there in 2010, and every single time we would try and go to the beach, it was just gray. Like this really pretty intense blue and gray. So, yeah. Of course, my students all managed to have perfect weather when they went to the beach. I think I just had really bad luck, so it's not like it's always terrible. And if you're like me, you don't think that weather is actually that terrible. Anyway, both bases there. And then the last one, and this is the one that I am most excited about, which when I show you, you're going to be a little bit surprised by, perhaps, given my talk last week about how gray and blue, right, of all of the ones that I've dyed up so far, this one is probably the most, like, my color palette. But the one that I'm most excited about is the one that is, like, the least me, right? Well, at least my color palette. I'm calling this one Summer in Provence. Look at that! What? It's crazy. I love it. I'm so excited about this colorway. So, Summer in Provence, because it's these bright, intense colors that fade out to being a little bit more pastel. Right, again, both yarns, both bases. You get sort of the green of all the grass growing there, the intense blue of the sky, intense yellow of the sun and the sunflowers that grow in fields just all over the place, purple for the lavender growing everywhere, and it just, oh my god, I'm so in love with this one. I'm so excited about this colorway. So Provence, right, the south of France, really holds a really special place in my heart. It's where I studied abroad when I was in college, and then also where Jordan and I got married last summer. So for me, just having anything that makes me think of Provence and the south of France is just really exciting and special. I love the way the colors are all playing together. I love the sun-dappled effect that's going on too. I think it's just absolutely perfect. I'm so excited about this yarn. It's so pretty. Right. And like, for me, it's especially exciting because I had a plan of how I wanted it to turn out in my mind, wrote it down, like came up with the recipe or whatever, sat down and dyed it, and it turned out like just like I expected it to. Right? It's just, I'm so excited. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Oh, I love it. This would be an amazing, like, textured shawl. So not one with like a lot of lace or anything like that, but just something where you can, oh, I want to unskein it so you guys can just see how the colors all play together. Right? Like just the way it folds or flows from one color to the next. Look at that. Right? Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm so excited by it. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe you guys think I'm crazy about this right now. But I just love it. Yeah, I'm so excited about this one. I love all three colors. I didn't even explain the hydrangea one all the way. But this one I am so excited about, and it's so funny because it's so not me. Does that make sense? But I think it turned out really great. Bring this back up. Whoa. Again, I'll probably end up rescanning it because it's gotten a little bit messy, but whatever. Right? There we go. Oh, both bases. So yeah, all these up in the Etsy shop this week. I did... What else did I want to say about the hydrangea one? The hydrangea one, the hortensia. Again, still playing with the French stuff because... So I mentioned just a minute ago how I spent a summer in Brittany, back in 2010, right, in Bretagne. And hydrangea bushes just grow like weeds there. I swear, everywhere we went, they were just everywhere. And like, I've always really liked them. They've always been one of my favorite flowers, but like, I don't know, I just kind of developed this obsession with them that summer, and especially when I learned that the French name for it is hortensia, because my step-grandmother, actually, her name was Hortense, and she died back in 1999, so a long time ago now, but she was just this amazing woman. She was, excuse my language, but she was a badass. She actually was a lawyer for the original Mayor Daley in Chicago back in the 60s, and she argued a case before the Supreme Court. She was a legitimate member of Mensa. Like, she was awesome. And so, for me, I don't know. Yeah, that just kind of made hydrangeas even more special, because they make me think of Hortense. So, yeah, so, hortensia. Love it. Makes me happy. Happy in a different way than that bad boy. But look at that. Aren't they? I actually kind of like those together. Well, that's kind of fun and happy. Look at that. You see, yarn just makes you happy. I feel like I'm getting my yarny happiness through the dyeing process now, instead of like going to the yarn store and getting new yarn. I'm just making it myself, and it makes me so happy. I may have to I may have to dye some up for myself. It's so pretty. Sorry, I'm mesmerized. I'm mesmerized by my own yarn. That's gotta be a sign of something, right? But yeah, so that's all. That'll all be up there this weekend. So today is May 6th. So yeah, looking for it like May 7th, May 8th maybe. It'll be up there. I've just gotta... Maybe I'll take pictures today because the lighting's actually pretty good out there. We shall see. Other than that, I was going to include a little bit of blather, but this episode is already almost an hour long. I'm probably going to have to cut some stuff. Hopefully I was able to cut down the episode so it's not another hour of me babbling on and on. But hey, when I've got 7 whips to show you guys, it's going to be a little long. That's what I need to do. That's another reason I need to cut down on the number of things I'm knitting on so that I don't just have enormously long podcasts every week. But yeah, summer break is here. I'll have more time to play with the dye pots and work on all of these different things. Yeah, and I'll talk to you guys more about all of that kind of stuff next week. So thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe because, yeah, summer break means no rigorous schedule. So who knows when the next episode will be out. Hopefully sometime within a week from now. I'll see you guys sometime next week. How about that? Happy knitting, guys.